Rocky, alert. Here's an art class problem for you. Now, first I will begin it with a preface, sort of an introduction, kind of a thing that goes before the actual thing, if you take my meaning. All forms of art represent something. One thing that is not very well known is the relationship between still life and landscapes. Scenery, landscapes. One big secret is to first of all, learn still life. In the ancient world and in medieval times and Renaissance times, a trip to the country was pretty damn difficult. If I were to go to town today to do the art class, I would have had, in a horse and buggy, I would have had to have left here yesterday to get to the art class today. It's 10 minutes by car, but it's a day's trip by horse and buggy, especially with the old route up past Rough and Ready. That's the old way. The new roads are in now, but that's the old way. Well, so you had a class painting class with oils, of course. It's very difficult to trudge around with oils as well, by the way, especially if you don't have tubes of them, because they didn't have tubes. They made their own oil paints, little pots of them. And you didn't go buy glass pots and glass jars anywhere. Who the hell would you buy them from? Nobody made those except for yourself. And so on. So you made it all yourself. You made your stretcher bars. You made your frames. You made everything yourself. Because that's what it was to be an artist in those days. And you mixed your own paint with lots and lots of lead in it. Anyway, it was very difficult to get out and do a plein air painting out in the wilderness someplace, or out in the wild. So you would first learn to paint by painting still lifes, things that just you find around the house, and you put them together, pile them on a table, and make a painting. You'll also do portraits and figures and so on. At some point, you'll graduate, so-called, to scenery, to painting landscapes. When you do, your teacher will advise you to paint your mountains and your land, your surfaces, your geosurfaces, the same way that you would paint drapery, either in a full length figure study or in a still life. You have drapery, and that drapery translates to mountains. You handle mountains the same way you handle drapery. So here is your art exercise. Take some drapery, some cloth of some kind, and scatter, kind of high-low, kind of make it, kind of droop it and kind of, imaginatively spread it on things of varying heights. Okay? On a table, about this wide, about 20 inches wide, 18 inches, 20 inches wide, like that, maybe as much as a couple of feet wide, and just maybe no more than a foot and a half high at the highest point. But lots of lows and highs and dippies and all kinds of stuff. Make it look like a landscape drape, make the draping look like actual land, like land. Now, you get back a ways and set up your easel as if you're doing a plein air scene. You're doing a landscape, but paint that fabric and follow the rules of outdoor. In other words, look, put a light source on there and so forth. So have a very strong light source coming in from